Alrighty, hello everyone in internet land. I am the disembodied voice of Duncan, Idaho, presenting to you another episode of Star Trek Reliant. Let us introduce our cast for the evening, starting with Chorog, because his name begins with a C, played by our friend JB.
Hello, one and all. This is Pirate Scum Gaming. I play the security expert Chorog. He's also the ship's tardigrade wrangler and one of the ship's expert mixologists because what he puts in venom should not be legal.
I'm pretty sure at this point the entire crew has on their CV Tardigrade Wrangler at some point. And we've got our man lost in time, Daniel Wells.
Hello, I am the estranged astronaut played by some person on the internet. And yeah, that's basically it. I have a spacesuit, so that's cool.
And next we've got our Chief Medical Officer and XO, Dr. Eli O'Connor.
I'm Dr. Eli O'Connor. I'm an alcoholic. Oh, wait, this is the wrong meeting.
And next we've got our Con Officer, Karjun Rani.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those who fall into neither category. Also joining us this evening, everyone's favorite Marcus Graves, Marcus Graves.
Yay! And the bounciest star on the internet, Rick Tier.
Why, hello there, Rick Tier, played by Bazag, and we're here to do some engineering and possibly blow things up.
And let's go ahead and get started real quick with basically panning shot of the USS Reliant. Basically going through space, flying around Starbase Magellan. It's a very beautiful scene. Orchestra's playing. The ship keeps panning around. And eventually, the camera swoops in through the window of Club 42, where we have various members of the crew enjoying a bit of rest time after a rather long shift as the ship is getting back underway for its mission operations.
Kara is seated at the bar near our bartender, and she just looks at this bottle that Grimnir has held out. And the camera zooms in where it says 98% alcohol by volume. She just says, "Dear God, you made this? This is terrifying." So how many do you want? None!
98% alcohol by volume is quite a lot, even by source standards, and we usually have it around 90.
This is basically fuel for an internal combustion engine. This isn't something you drink. This is something you strip paint with.
Chorog grabs the bottle and looks. It looks like a low-grade mouthwash as he takes a big swig of it. Not bad. He pours a little bit into his venom tankard as he's trying out some new mixes.
Kara does a double take between Chorog and Grimnir and says, "You guys aren't from this universe."
At this point, Daniel walks up behind them and sees the bottle. Hey, is that Everclear?
It's Everclear.
Oh, it's just a little something from Earth. Haven't had that in a long time. A long time. And he just kind of gets a look on his face.
Kara blinks and then looks between the Nausicaan, the towering human, and the smaller human, and then looks back at Rick. Do you ever feel like we're the only members of sane species on the ship?
Probably. We're pretty hardy, but even then, 98% can be very toxic.
Oh, we pride ourselves on our ability to destroy our brain cells.
Setzer raises a hand.
Kara looks over. You don't have to do that. You can just talk.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but I don't know, it just seems a little bit more orderly, you know? But, yeah, well, I do have some Borg implants, and, they might be able to handle some stuff. Like, I can handle toxic atmospheres pretty well.
Kara looks shocked. It's not a question of being able to handle it. It's a question of whether or not you should.
But I could.
Hey, Sets, I want to test that theory.
Oh, God.
Here, just a quick out-of-character moment. I actually heard myself through Chorg's mic, and the Setzer voice wasn't coming through.
Yeah,
No,
it's not on.
Okay, let me just. Okay, continue with the scene. I'm gonna just look through some voice stuff here.
Grab my headset.
Kari just lightly thumps her head on the bar a couple times. Look, if this is what passes for a night out for you guys, I think I might have to call it quits.
This isn't a night out. This is a week out.
Yeah, it will be if you drink that.
Eli's over sitting in a booth by himself.
I mean, I can see the appeal for having like a short amount, like a little like shot, but any appreciable amount, it's like what I don't. There's just no point to it.
Trog motions for Grimnir to pass a bottle of the purple people dropper that's sitting low on the shelf. So he wants that into the mix too.
So, real quick, can anyone hear me right now?
Time
I
out for
hear
technical
tardigrade.
difficulties.
I hear a tardigrade.
Wait, you guys hear him and I don't? Again?
Yep.
Hello?
I had
You,
to.
yeah, you are
There
very
we go. There's
soft
the
as
voice.
tardigrade, but you are coming through.
No, that's a Setsa voice.
So I got. Oh, yeah. I changed it. I'm just going through the settings right now because
You sound a little quiet, too.
Yeah, it's just how this kind of works.
Because like it sort of drops the voice out a little bit when I do that. So,
Yeah, but
Anyway.
now I turned your volume up, and it's like when you forget again, you're going to come in normal, and then I'm going to be deaf, probably.
okay. Well, here, let me try.
I'm kidding. You don't have to do anything. That's
Okay,
just
well-
a thing that happens.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm also seeing my audio levels are a bit low. So, just a sec. Do I sound any higher right now?
A bit,
Can someone else
maybe
feel
a
that? I've been
little?
playing with the volume.
a bit louder
Does
than
this
you were.
sound any louder?
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, a bit.
Okay, yeah, that was just a little bit. There are just layers of things going on here. Okay, sorry.
Ain't
about
that
the
just
interruption
life?
Here.
All right. So yeah. Well, I mean, it's not that I could drink that, but or should drink that, but I mean, if you want to experiment, nothing else is going on today.
Well, you got yourself a deal. Here, try this. Trog slides the tankard with his new venom mix in it down to Setsa.
Kara, before she can drink, just stands up and says, "That's it. I'm out of here. Me and the dog are going for a walk." Nala gives a woof.
Are there any fumes coming off of this new concoction
Oh,
that are
no.
affecting the nearby people?
Oh no, I lost my sense of smell years ago.
I was kind of saying that out
It
of character.
doesn't-
Sorry.
It doesn't seem too bad.
Wait for it.
This is rolling.
It's got a boomerang effect.
All right, let's see. Character sheet. Setsa topples backwards.
Well, I'm definitely onto something here.
Uh,
Note to self. This batch works.
Dr. O'Connor, I think we need your assistance over here.
Eli,
I'm good.
Eli sighs and stands up and walks over. What's the problem?
I had drink. I feel funny.
Yeah, drinks tend to do that.
Most drinks. This Jorog drink.
Have you had anything to eat today?
Does water count?
No. No, it does. No.
Oh,
Oh.
it kind of skipped.
Yeah, that's going to be hitting you like 1,000 times harder.
Maybe. So, give me the shot. The shot thing. Make me not drunk.
If I do that, I feel like you're not going to learn anything.
Is the ship supposed to be spinning?
From a certain point of view, I suppose.
Okay, that normal then.
Which direction is it spinning?
Eli wise.
Uh-oh. She's hammered.
Thank you. I could have never told.
Turning that way.
Clockwise or counterclockwise?
The clock just has numbers. See?
She points at a chronometer on the wall.
Does it spin right or does it spin left?
Kind of left, and then up, and then down, and then up again, and then I think left. But it could be like right, but sort of going left.
Okay, maybe a little shot won't hurt.
Daniel.
He says as he gets out the
I'm gonna spend
anti-intoxicant.
I'm spending
Daniel-
a threat.
I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna make this a medical control roll. You know what to do. It's just a question of putting the thing on the thing.
Without unforeseen
Medical control, you said?
circumstances.
Yep. And then complication 19. 4 successes. So I'm just doing a bit of a thing. We've got 2 momentum from that. So yes, you are able to bring Setsa so completely out of it that she just blinks. Just like all of a sudden things stop moving and she's just kind of stunned. Eyes a little wide.
You okay?
Yes?
Did you learn anything from this?
I don't think so beyond, well, just don't drink weird things when Tara tells me not to drink weird things.
What are you guys drinking?
Well, Chorok made it. It was kind of bubbling. I wasn't really paying too much attention, just in fun, so I just had to drink.
That's how he gets you.
Yeah, just do tea tonight.
I'm testing a new batch of venom. Here, try this. Chorog hands Eli the metal tankard with the bubbling, smoking substance inside.
What's in this?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, some purple people dropper, some Everclear, some venom.
I don't touch Everclear, no. I might be an alcoholic, but I don't touch Everclear. He puts the mug down.
You know what? Daniel grabs a shot glass. I'm up for a little experiment.
Oh no, don't.
Daniel, I know you're wanting to get new experiences in a new time, but, I have Borg implants, and I was on the floor, and I thought the ship was, like, kind of, like, coming in, like, imploding. So,
Let him learn. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, he wants to be brave. Let's let him be brave. Chorog pours a little bit of the substance in a shot glass and says, "Your funeral."
No. Fill the shot glass up to the brim.
Fill the shotgun? Good lord, man.
No, shot glass. I corrected myself.
There's a difference between being brave and being foolhardy.
And that is a very thin line to walk, and tonight we're going to see what side he ends up on.
Chorog fills the shot glass all the way to the brim. Then, all right, let's see what you got. Bottoms up.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Daniel taps the glass on the counter before swigging it all back. And a quick question for whatever I'm going to have to roll. I know I haven't been using values, but I do have one that says nothing ventured, nothing gained, and I just want to know what my options are with that.
Nothing relevant. So you could use a point of determination to get extra dice. That's a really let's put it this way. You would do that in a critical situation that you really want to get a little boost on or reroll dice. Just doing it for a drink, because you can only use it once a game, and I might throw stuff later. Since you can only do that once a game, it is a whole lot. Like, the things that you're going to be using more are those talents, or the focuses. Also talents if any apply, but the values are your really challenging situations because they're core values. So they either apply or being challenged, which can throw in some extra complications.
Okay. I wish I knew what my talents did, because I have no idea if they apply. But anyway, I guess I'll just, I drank the whole shot glass.
Alright, you are going to roll a fitness medicine roll. I'm going to spend 2 threat on this one. So your complication range is 18.
Yes, medicine, my dump stat. Does it automatically do a d20?
It depends on how you do it.
I just did
So
/R.
/R, you gotta specify it then. So your target range, then the dice, 2. Your difficulty, 1. And then critical range, 1. Complication, 18.
Okay.
Dice
So
isn't.
it's automatically a 20, but it's not necessarily 2d20. You can do 3, 1 with the dice modifier.
Yeah, it by
Wait,
default dice is 2, but if we do add more momentum or something like that, or if you're
Yeah.
assisting, then you'd have to specify.
But
I just use
specifically with the
slash
dice
D20. It's easier. It takes longer, but
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah, so it just depends. There's 2 ways of doing it: /R, /D20. /R I like just because it lets me just type everything out in one go versus selecting stuff. But yeah, just whichever works best for you.
Okay. Sorry, I switched over to /D20, and I don't know how to add the other parameters.
Then just use /R. Don't overcomplicate it.
No, it's the same with that. It's just do I put a comma or like between the numbers?
No. Okay, just go to /R. It's easier to explain. When you do /R, you get it tells you right at the top that the parameters are entered in the order and there's a space between those numbers. So you do /R, you get the parameter, and then you do target number, whatever that is. So let's say it's 11. You do space 2, space 1, space 1, space 18.
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Okay. You don't need to listen to like what I'm saying because when you type in /R, read the top of the chat bar. And then between each one of those, it's just a space. So it's your target number, whatever that is.
Oh, okay.
Space 2 for your dice, then space for difficulty, 1, space for 1, crit, and then comp. You need to type the other numbers in because the comp range is at the very end. Otherwise, those would have default values.
I think I get the order. Wait, so is the target 1?
No, the target is the addition of your medical score and your focus, or your fitness score.
So it's that, then 2 dice, then 1, then
1, then yeah. So read through those targets that you like, the instructions that are on top of the chat bar.
Yeah, it's target, dice, difficulty, crit, comp, and so
yeah.
So I get the
2 dice, nothing for difficulty and crit, so you just do 1 and 1, and then your comp
Okay,
is 18.
Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't do anything else with those. I didn't tell you a difficulty number. It didn't tell you a crit number, or a crit doesn't apply. So.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, no
Good
success
night.
is 1 complication. Yep, you're just completely passed out drunk.
Can I react? See if Rick T can react because he's sort of expecting this.
Well, he's brave. I'll give him that.
Well, we've found out what side of the fence he landed on.
Grimnir yells over. There's a fine line between bravery and stupidity.
And you would know it.
Oh, Rick, you're up.
So yeah, I'll catch him as he tries to, just sort of falls down and just lowers him down to the ground slowly. Just letting him to, so he doesn't actually hurt himself. You're there, you're a bit softer.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not doing anything, so I'm gonna... Alright, if Kara wants to take over, I'm gonna try to fix this real quick. I'm gonna need to do something here.
It's my show now!
Yes.
Be afraid.
God's help us all.
Come back and everyone's dead.
Be afraid. Be very, very afraid.
Lock the channel. We win! It's our show now!
We're not gonna take it.
So anyway, Rick, if you want to go ahead and react to go ahead and try and catch him, let's just go ahead and make that a fitness security roll. No complications, because you were expecting this. 1 success will be enough.
So that'll be a 14. Would athletics apply as a focus?
Sure, go for it.
There we go.
3 successes. Before he even starts to sway, Rick is over there and gently guiding him calmly toward the soft floor. Daniel is now lying on the floor, unconscious. Around him are gathered Eli O'Connor, Rick Tier, Setsa, and Chorog.
Do you think he learned anything?
Yeah, never take drinks from my mug.
I just think drinks from you in general, but I know I could handle it, but I just don't touch Everclear. No.
I
That had some of mine in it too, you know.
I still don't touch Everclear. Not since Norfolk.
Well, he wanted to be brave. I'll give him that.
There's a bosun's whistle that comes up, and then a simple announcement. Eli O'Connor to the bridge. First Officer Eli O'Connor to the bridge.
That's me. He takes out a hypo spray and hands it to Kara. If he starts to
Kara-
dying, like
Kara
alcohol
already left.
poisoning,
Probably means Setsa.
or Chorog. Chorog, you're this is your mess.
Chorog and responsible don't go well together.
If he starts to, if his liver starts to fuck up here, just give him this.
Trog looks at the thing. How do you use this damn thing?
Okay, so you press this part against his neck, and you press that button.
Okay. If he starts twitching, I'll use it.
That probably a good idea. So yeah, I'm off. This is my get out of jail free card. See ya.
It takes only a few minutes for Dr. Eli O'Connor to navigate through the ship, up through the turbo lift, and arrive on the bridge. Since Setsa's down in Club 42, the science station is currently manned by Jess, Aro, and Neen, who are standing on the chair there. They look over at him. Got strange sensor readings.
Strange how?
They look back over the console, and then Jess looks over. A Tarn's warp? A Tarn's wrap? A trans wrap?
A transwarp?
That.
He
It's a
sits
transwarp
down.
signature.
He sits down in the captain's chair. Oh god, please don't let this be the Borg.
The Riothans type at the console, and a map pulls up on screen showing where the disturbance is based on where the Reliant is going. Currently, the Reliant is actually nowhere near it, but they could swing off and investigate.
Put in a course. Let's check it out. We have a responsibility, regardless of what it is, to see what it is.
Ensign Mood nods, and the ship starts to bank. Aye, sir. Changing course for transwarp signature coordinates. Should be there in about 2 or 3 minutes. The tactical officer, the Zendi reptilian, leans over and looks down at Eli. Does this mean I'm going to get to shoot something?
It might mean that. It definitely
happy
might.
day. The trio... Go ahead.
If all else fails, aim for their warp core.
The trio are working on the console. Have a lock on the signal. Here, we'll bring up what it looks like. A slightly staticky image comes up of what looks to be a Borg probe. But something about it seems off. Can I get a, let's say, insight command from Eli? Well, in addition to the plasma obviously leaking out the side of it, it looks like this probe has sustained weapons fire. But something about it just doesn't quite add up to you. There's bits and pieces poking out here and there that's ruining the symmetry of it, and various sections of it have been plated over to have coverage from the space. It doesn't seem like the sort of design that the Borg generally use.
Fascinating. Open a channel.
Ensign Moon taps a few buttons. No response, Captain. We're not getting any power signatures off the ship.
I think we might have to beam aboard.
Camera pans out and the Reliant comes out of warp near the damaged and strange Borg probe. Orders, sir?
Bring us to transporter range.
Aye, sir.
And-
It's in transporter range.
Start putting together I'm going to start putting it together an away team. Preference for kinetic weapons, just in case.
Aye, sir. I'll let the security teams know.
At this point, Marcus Graves enters the bridge, escorting what looks like a small little diplomatic convoy. The alien species in particular. They're very squat, somewhat wrinkled, and have a variety of different coloration for their head markings and matching robes. Different color codes that appear too. I'm just stalling for time while I grab the screenshot real quick. That might denote some kind of caste structure. Marcus is gesturing expansively. And this here is the bridge, where of course we control the ship. And
Meanwhile, he says the yellow alert is flashing. There's a Borg probe on the main screen, and the entirety of the bridge crew is looking at him like he's insane.
And he's slowly realizing this, and also realizing that he's not wanting to cause any alarm in the species, and it's sort of like in this kind of no man's land between basically 2 firing positions, and he's just found himself like just standing in between that, and he's just looking back and forth and says, and yeah, we can take some refreshments in my ready room. I'll need to discuss something with my first officer shortly, but it shouldn't be a problem. And he just sort of like hurriedly sort of strides across the bridge and sort of gestures. And once the dignitaries are in his ready room, he turns to Eli and says,
this is the married man's conundrum. This is Marcus doesn't want to tell the truth, but he also doesn't want to lie.
Mm-hmm. So he goes over and says to Eli, I was a little occupied with a second contact scenario. What exactly is happening right now?
Down in the bar, they're getting themselves alcohol poisoning, and the Borg are here.
Yeah, I noticed that. Are we looking at a solitary Borg ship? That doesn't look completely standard to me.
My best guess, it's solitary. They don't have any power. Putting together an away team with kinetic weapons only, be it like pointy sticks or machine guns. I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah, we've got some stuff. We've got some TR. I made sure we kept some of the TR 118 rifles that Command had issued after we assaulted the transwarp gate. So let's put it this way.
I could always just replicate a Tommy gun. That'd be fun.
If you think so. But yeah, we do still have some residual equipment for this type of scenario. Make sure that the away team is aware of that.
While he's going through all this, the trio are bouncing up and down at Setsa Station, chanting, "We found the transwap! We found the transwap!"
They mean transwarp.
Okay. So, do you need Setsa for this mission?
Might have her on standby.
All right. I'll have a talk with her to see if she's ready.
If she's not needed, she doesn't need to know about this until after it's done. I don't want her to worry.
Well,
could be detrimental to her recovery.
Yeah, that's kind of the difficult situation we've got here, where we should ask, because it could be, accessing their systems would be something she's eminently qualified to do, both because of the implants, but also her scientific expertise. But if she's not...
Ensign Moon looks over. Also, I'd like to point out that the yellow alert is currently flashing on all decks, so most of the ship, he looks pointedly at the ready room, already knows something's up.
I'm sure the captain could tell... And I'm sure the captain could just tell our guests this is like some relaxing white noise.
No, I don't need to go that far. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna send a message real quick, just and see to our guests. But yeah, Eli,
I'll lead the away
on
team.
this one. Yeah, and I'll try to keep things cool from here. Also, I should probably mention too, if something catastrophic doesn't happen there, or if it's just mildly catastrophic and we can kind of roll with it, there is going to be a formal diplomatic reception at 1700 hours.
I'll try to make sure everyone's sober by then. They're drinking Everclear down there.
All right. All right. Yep, right. This is just today. Graves just rubs his temple and says, okay, I'm going to go take care of this, and just let me know if anything happens.
Roger that, Captain. He stands up and goes to the turbo lift.
So,
Graves goes to his ready room.
Who does Dr. Eli O'Connor contact for his away team?
Let's see. Let's get Rick Tier. Let's get Chorog. Oakley's here for once, so let's bring Oakley. Yay. And let me see. DB's passed out. Let's get Bryce.
Everyone reports to the ready room. Bryce is there, and he's currently checking on one of the TRS, kinetic rifles.
John is in the corner. He's just staring at Eli through little sad tardigrade eyes.
John, get in here.
He claps and quickly follows.
Bryce suppresses a slight smile.
John, this is very important. Your time with Uncle Karn? Bring the blade he gave you.
Yay! He toddles off and grabs a full-size batleth. from his quarters. As it turns out, Karn gave him lots of stabby things.
Please remember to stay away from the pointy end of the tardigrade. Please also remember that all ends of the tardigrade are pointy.
Eli has an officer saber on his belt. It's been in his quarters, and now he finally gets to use it.
Once ready, the transporter officer signals that she's ready to send them over unless there's any last-minute things to take care of.
Chorog has the staff weapon he picked up from Quinn.
Rick Tier just has basically a spear. A hard and sharpened spear.
The group looks over, gives a signal, and is beamed over to the damaged Borg probe. They arrive in pretty much pitch blackness. It's also very cold.
Did somebody remember to pack a flashlight?
John turns on a flashlight, and in the center of the flashlight is also a little Batman symbol.
As the flashlight is swept over the area around them, they can tell that they're on a catwalk in what passes for a corridor in a Borg ship. However, it doesn't seem like it usually would. The catwalk itself is not lined with alcoves and regeneration stations. Instead, there are doors here and there that seem to lead into other rooms.
Rick Tier activates these little, drone things that have the lights on them. That were useful in game. And make sure everyone has their own light source.
Everyone now has a little floating light, courtesy of Rick Tier, who thought ahead. You also notice that as you breathe, your breath is coming out and causing slight frost.
This is also reminds me of some of our mythological stories, but this is not like any Borg sphere I've seen.
One of you brought explosives just in case, right? I'm counting on you, Chorog, here. Please tell me you did.
Small, medium, or blow a hole in the ship yield.
Any and all.
Chorog tosses a small leather satchel at Eli. Here, take your pick. They all go boom.
Oh no, we don't need them right now. This is just the backup.
Bryce, meanwhile, is looking over a tricorder. I'm not seeing any signs of Borg activity, sir, although I'm getting weak life signs all over the ship.
Where's the closest one?
He looks around for a bit. Should be behind that door over there.
Alright, let's get this open.
The group goes over to the door, which does not open for them. So let's get a nice explosive roll from someone. Who's gonna set us up the bomb?
Let's let John.
Wazer.
Let's let John do it.
John is just ecstatic.
All right, John.
I make explosion. Uncle Karn taught me where to place the bombs so they blow open doors, so then we can go into honorable combat against the Patarks.
Give me a reasoned security roll, please.
John, put it right in the middle of the door. That way, when it blows, the whole door goes flying.
He knows what to do. Uncle Karn taught him.
Let's see.
Karn.
Reason security.
This is an intellectual matter.
John do good. He got 2 successes.
Well, John does an excellent job of removing the door from blocking them. The smoke clears, and they look in what seems to be crew quarters, or at least someone's quarters. Inside, there's a desk and a bed, which seems to also be combined with a regeneration alcove. On the bed seems to be lying a person. They look to be an assimilated member of a species you don't recognize, just lying there completely unconscious and unresponsive.
John immediately charges into the room after the explosion and just plants his batleth into the desk.
Eli tries to grab John by the collar, but misses.
The desk has been honorably slain in combat.
Well, if it's a metal desk, he just goes plink and the batleth just hits it.
You can't tell me that Karn didn't give him a batleth designed to cut through Borg metal.
Oh, he did, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so John has slain the desk.
Chorog
You've
takes
sent that desk to Stovacor.
Chorog takes a deep breath, goes over to the desk, and performs a Hegte ceremony for the desk.
Eli, however,
This desk will go to Stovacor.
Eli goes to check on the person because he brought a medical tricorder.
Bryce follows Eli as the only person who's acting sane.
Rick is going to look at the power systems and engineering and see what's going on with the ship systems.
Okay, first off, let's have a medical insight roll from Dr. Eli O'Connor.
Oh boy, medical insight. 9.
Cybernetics would apply to this, by the way.
While they're doing that, Chorog howls in despair. That way, Stovacor knows a metal desk is incoming.
And Rick, we can set up your role as well if you'd like to give me an insight. Insight engineering roll.
Okay.
And meanwhile, we can talk about what Eli has discovered with 4 successes. Eli finds that the Borg on the bed is alive, but only just. All systems are shut down. It's in complete torpor. Whatever it's in, it's gone past a regeneration mode. It's almost like it's dead, but not quite. There's a lot of mental signals coming from the brain, though. In fact, so much so that it's just startling. There's so much information going through the neural net of this Borg right now that you're surprised that anything could handle it.
Shit, he's still alive. A lot of brain activity. Too much brain activity for something like this. This is the Borg. Someone could have infected them with a virus. I don't know.
Did he come in contact with a vinculum or something?
Meanwhile, as Rick Tier scans the power supplies, he can tell that there's only a trickle of power going almost everywhere. There is a massive amount of power going to what seems to be the Borg computer systems and subspace relays, and that's literally it. Unfortunately, after discovering this, he accidentally bonks his head.
And you just hear a clunk as Rick Tier sort of quickly tries to step back from the console and hits a beam that he hadn't quite properly clocked was there. Yeah.
Everyone learns a few new curse words.
I think Chorog has not heard.
Yeah, you rarely hear Rick curse, but for once you actually let him. You actually hear a curse in his native language. For then you get powers. Every bit of Scarika powers getting redirected to the computer and transwarp systems. There's nothing in
the subspace relays, the communicators.
Yeah, the subspace relays. Nothing for life support. Nothing for any other system but communications and the computers.
They were desperate. Whatever this is, they're desperate.
Bryce listens for a minute. If all the information's going to the computer, and you said there's a lot of information going through that Borg's head right now, that says one thing to me, although I'm not an engineer or a doctor, but that seems to me to sound like a computer virus.
That's
something
what I first thought.
All their processing power and all their memory.
Let me take a look at it. I have experience with computer viruses.
Glad to see we're on the same page, Bryce.
Point. So, Bryce looks at Rick Tier. You're the engineer. I suppose you could find us an access point.
All right. What role does Rick need to do?
Let's just do reason engineering. This should be pretty simple for Rick. Even if this is a strange Borg starship, it's going to be laid out roughly the same as most others.
All right.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I could hear you.
1 success.
It actually takes Rick Tier a while and quite a bit more explosives before they find a Borg vinculum that they can latch into. Along the way, they discover several other rooms that they don't generally expect to find on a Borg ship, including what looks like a mess hall, a crewed holodeck, and more crew quarters, some with and without Borg. At various places throughout the ship are comatose Borg, either lying on the floor or slumped over railings. It's as if they suddenly just dropped wherever they were.
Yeah, I'm betting someone planted a virus in the vinculum. We better have a scan of it.
Let's have a give me an insight engineering, Chorog.
Rick T will assist.
It doesn't take too long between the two of them to locate the problem. As a great engineer once said, the more complicated the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up. The culprit seems to be a relatively simple computer worm that's just flooding the entirety of the CPU and memory with nonsense mathematical calculations.
Yeah, we should be able to flush this out, Rick.
Yeah, well, wondering
Bryce looks
how
over.
this
The question is,
even...
do we want to?
Why would we not?
It's a Borg ship, sir.
I beg to the contrary. You don't see quarters on Borg ships. You don't see holodecks on Borg ships. This is something else. They've liberated themselves.
I'm willing to bet these are the liberated Borg. I've been hearing rumors about them, but I've never actually seen them.
I mean, we don't have any alcoves either, so if they are Borg, they are very different.
If these guys have freed themselves from the collective, I think they deserve to have a chance to live. So I say we purge the worm and find out exactly what happened with these guys.
Eli's badge at this point beeps. Sir, we need you back on the bridge. We've got another transwarp signature.
All right, beat me over. Kara, I'm leaving you in charge.
I think you mean Bryce.
No, I invited Kara too.
Did you? I didn't remember that. Okay, well,
Yes.
Kara's in charge. Eli is beamed back to the bridge. Currently on the bridge, there's the shot of the open, glowing green portal of a transwarp network, and out of it comes flying a Borg sphere.
Ah, shit.
There's a few tense moments, and then the sphere just seems to ignore the Reliant and goes over to the probe and locks on a tractor beam.
Lock on that tractor emitter. I'm not letting him take him. Not while our crew's over there.
Hi, sir. Bringing weapons online now.
While working on the Borg probe, Charles feels the ship shudder. Sounds like we're about to have company.
That definitely feels like a tractor beam, not a standard Federation one either.
John raises his bat'leth excitedly.
Steady, John. Take up defensive positions by that door. If they start coming this way, if it moves, kill it. If it keeps moving, kill it again.
John raises a hand.
Larissa. It's Larissa, Kara.
Larissa warms up the phasers and with a quick pinpoint shot blasts out the emitter on the Borg sphere, which now notices the Reliant and turns and begins firing weapons.
Graves appears from his ready room. What's happening?
We have engaged the Borg.
However,
What?
something seems to go wrong with the Borg ship, and all the shots seem to go very wide.
Graves sighs. Opening hailing frequency of the Borg.
As soon as it's opened, you just get the general Borg spiel.
I have an idea. Give me a channel to Rick Tier.
All right.
Rick Tier, can you hear me?
Rick T responding, yes, what's up?
That virus, see if you could extract it. Don't destroy it. We can try to infect the Borg ship that just showed up with it.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
This will be considerably more difficult than simply erasing the virus. Let's get a control engineering from Rick Tier, but you need 2 successes.
Alright, I'm gonna take it user momentum to get a 3rd dice, and that'll trigger my, cautious.
Also, I can throw my criminal enterprises and mechanical tinkering focuses. Charog does have experience with planting viruses.
I don't think I've got a focus supplies.
Probably not.
Boom.
But Rick Tier manages to do it. Very carefully, he sections off the necessary code from the virus and uploads it to his tricorder, and from there uploads it to the Reliant, where it can be used as they see fit. The
Graves
Reliant
taps his
now
comm
has a
badge.
virus.
Graves taps his comm badge. Sets to go over to the bridge immediately.
When he says that, Kara arrives on the bridge, jumping out of the... Kara's on the Borg ship, I forgot. Damn.
Yeah. Setzer arrives on the on the bridge very quickly. Graves just looks at her. Borg ships. We have a virus to disable them. Deploy that. It takes Setzer a couple seconds to blink. She nods and processes very quickly, sort of like strutting, like not quite with the speed to say and threaten the Riothans, but they have to jump out of the way as she approaches her station.
They're still busy excitedly chanting trans rap.
Okay. So Setsa will use her her abundant expertise and focuses in this area to deploy the. Let me take a quick look at some stats and traits. But at least as far as Setsa goes here, her objective isn't to simply sort of save the Reliant. She's intent on disabling those ships to the extent that they can, liberate both vessels.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and see how well you do. This is going to be a control science roll.
Let's see. So a value applies, so I'm going to if friends come first. So I'm going to spend determination to get extra dice, and she's got 2 focuses that apply information systems in the Borg Collective, and then her computer expertise talent also gives her a bonus d20.
Roll it. Let's see what the God of Luck says.
All right, so spending the determination first allows me to get 1 extra dice.
So it's counted as an extra dice that has already rolled a 1. So just roll the 3 dice with computer expertise and add 2 successes to it.
All right, and which roll was this?
This is control science.
Control science, okay. Oh, crap. 1 success, 1 complication.
Technically, she already rolled a 1 according to Rick, so she actually has a total of 3 successes and 1 complication.
All right, and we've got a bunch of momentum here. The question is, do I want to run with the complication?
I was about to say, don't look at me. Talk amongst yourselves.
I know, it's more of a storytelling thing. Sense of getting a complication right at this moment and what I could do with that.
Well, if you're not going to do anything with it, I definitely can, so that's up to you.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and re-roll the dice. I want to try to, so spend 2 momentum.
Yep.
Okey-doke.
All right. Down to 3. All right. Re-rolling that dice. 1 success, so a total of 4 successes.
It's touch and go, but she's able to upload the virus to the Borg sphere, which immediately shuts down.
Setsa salutes and says,
Borg ship disabled, sir. Recovery efforts can begin at any time.
Ensign Moon looks over. All right, so I have 2 questions, sir.
shoot.
1, how long is it going to take them to adapt to that? And 2, how much you want to bet if we hang around here, there's going to be something worse than a sphere that gets spit out when it comes looking for the sphere?
I'm going to bet that those are both unfortunate answers we don't want to stick around for. Let's focus on doing what we can. Damn it, let's see. Is there any objective that the away team sees in front of them that's worth sticking around for?
There's liberated Borg over there. Quarters, they're living full lives.
All right, so let's do this. Beam every Borg on that ship to our ship. Full security protocols. Really heavy security protocols, let's put it that way. And detonate that ship.
We don't have the regeneration allocuffs to accommodate them.
All right.
I was about to say,
So
insight science from Setsa when that's said.
All right. 2 successes.
Yeah, if they just blew up the ship and those were liberated Borg, it would probably be fatal given the virus that's running through the system.
All right. Setsa relays that information to Graves and says, all right, so we need to recover that ship, although...
Marissa looks over. We got a tractor beam, too.
Yeah, we got a tractor beam. Let's go ahead and pull it along, engage in warp. Let's try to get out of here.
Just leave the sphere to its own devices, sir?
We could destroy it. Setsa
need
just
to contact-
immediately glares at him.
We need to contact Starfleet Command because this could be the next Vega if we don't do something.
Yeah, I know that.
Meanwhile, in the ready room, there's a group of small, gray-skinned, wrinkly aliens all having a drink and wondering what the noise is about.
Graves says, "All right, John, I want
John
you."
appears in a flash. Poof.
John, I want you to go. Well, let's put it this way. I want you to do some reconstructive surgery on some critical systems on that Borg sphere. For example, the transwarp core and the subspace beacon. Can you do that?
John nods. Oh, yes, I do that very well. He hefts up this bat lift bigger than him. I sent desk to Stovacore already.
Marcus nods. All right, get to it.
There's another flash.
All right, well, the Borg are probably going to adapt, but by the time they do, they will have a ship that needs much more urgent repair than they'll be able to basically commit before they pursue us. We should proceed to Starbase Magellan and put out a really big red alert.
Ensign Moon nods. Aye, you want me to send a message to the Sierra and the Athens? They can come here and clean up the sphere while we run off with the probe.
Absolutely. All right, and yeah, they'll be able to also handle recovery operations pretty damn well, especially with Bailey in command.
In the meanwhile, put down a relay buoy. Make sure people get the message if they come into the system in the meanwhile.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. And also do what we can to also scramble subspace communications at longer ranges.
That would be Setsa's problem.
Setsa is going to go attempt to do it because she's in automatic do science mode.
Control science. And hope you don't get a crit.
Oh!
You got the complication.
Got the complication. This is... Yeah, let's just run with this.
Setsa's able to scramble the communications for a while, but for a moment, she accidentally plugs herself in. And for a moment, everything unrolls before her. Every Borg ship everywhere in the galaxy, every voice in unison, and behind it all, the will of the Queen. And then she blinks, and it's gone.
I'm going to make another roll here. Oof. She also hears another voice, somewhat sinister and dark voice, that simply says, "Do it. Join them." And Setsa's frozen.
The real things stop their chanting of transrap and seem to notice this. I think our science officer go brokey.
Eli,
Graves
being an
immediately
empath, also senses it.
Graves is just completely just... You see him almost just like... He just goes completely stone-faced and says, "Someone help her. All right, let's just do what we can. Let's just get out of here. Get that probe out of here. Contact Starfleet Command right away."
Ensign Moon chimes in. Message sent and course laid in, sir. Larissa comes back.
right,
We've got a strong tractor lock, sir.
All right, warp now.
And the Reliant turns and goes to warp, dragging behind it a disabled probe.
But the away team's still aboard.
John returns after his finger painting exercises with entropy and destruction.
He has a glowing green something covering part of him.
Graves, he looks at Graves. Graves looks at him. John just totters over and gives Marcus a hug.
Now Marcus has some glowing green stuff on him.
And Marcus is just standing there with just the side of the sort of the starfield warping, and he's just standing there with John, and it's just a touching moment there.
Kara, meanwhile, back on the Borg ship, is feeling it shudder and just looks around and goes, "You know, I get the feeling something's happening and nobody's telling us about it."
That's actually probably a good time to say we've been going for about an hour. Probably good time for a quick break.
And as we come back from commercial break, the camera zooms in on Kara, who has just asked the question that everybody on the Borg probe is probably wondering about.
So they probably get Marcus has probably delegated some tasks here. So they get a sort of a automated message, or not an automated message, but either a text message or someone like Larissa or Moon filling them in on the details of what's just happened.
Kara just listens to the whole thing and then just says, "Okay, do we come back then?"
Marcus gets on the comms. Is there anything that needs to be done over on that ship?
Well, life support
Everything
and
here seems stable.
Rick T pipes up. Well, we do. I mean, if we are going to try and restore this thing, then we should try and restore it. We've extracted the virus, but the virus is still, affecting the liberated Borg here. So we should at least try and.
Graves Graves nods and says, "Yeah, you need to figure out how to disable that virus and delete it. Setsa has also frozen up."
Kara lets loose a string of curses in Ibby.
Graves says, "Yeah. So, if research is needed over there, do it."
We're also going to need a couple of engineering teams to help get the engines online. Or whatever passes for engines on this thing.
Well, I mean, once we deal with the virus, we can ascertain the actual power needs for the rest of the system. Everything is being dedicated to the virus right now.
Yeah, let's get to work on that virus. I have some experience with that.
So you eggheads get to work. I just fly ships and break things. So for pulling the virus out, it's relatively easy. Given what Rick Tier has already done, a simple key press on his, data pad would remove the virus from the system. That would also bring the entire ship back online. And there's not exactly much telling what will happen when that does.
So, Kara, you're ready? Should we try and do this remotely or bring in prayer out?
Kara looks over at the bed with the Borg on it. Let's try and find a place where there's not any Borg when we do this, just in case they wake up grumpy. Bryce starts scanning. I think there's an unused supply area 5 doors down, about 50 meters.
At least give us a bit of space.
Kara nods. Sounds good. Just in case, they're fighty when they wake up. I don't know about you. I don't like being woken up.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person. We need to be able to barricade the door, too, just in case they decide to want to come and introduce themselves.
John, I know it's a lot of work, but do you mind taking us all inside that closet?
John nods and says,
Yeah, I can do the spore jumpy, or I can smash. Dig and get us there too.
No, that spore jump will be fine. Let's not try to dig our way in. We want to secure the room.
All right, everybody grab a tardigrade hand.
He's got knots. So yeah, he's able to spore jump them unless there's any interference to the desired location.
Nope. There would normally be a lot of calculations involved, but this is the sort of thing John does without thinking about it, so...
Yay!
The group is now in a cold, dark cargo closet, essentially.
All right.
Kara looks over at Rick. Now you can go ahead and press the button.
And boop. Button is pressed.
Nothing seems to happen for a few moments. And then after a moment, lights above them that are kind of a soft cyan color flicker on. And you feel warmth as the heating system begins to turn back on. Well, we're not dead yet.
Do you want to scan how our ex-Borg friends are reacting?
I'm on it.
Go ahead, Chorog. Let's get a reason science. For those in the audience, you may notice I am a little inconsistent in what roles I ask for. The reason for this is that you could justify many different skills for the same role. Chorog does know which end of a tricorder is which, and he's able to determine that all over the ship, Borg are waking up. Most of them aren't moving immediately, but they're awake.
I can't tell what kind of mood they're in, but they're up.
John raises a hand.
Yes, John.
I go see and say hello, and if they are not friendly, I can sport jump back and take us to Reliant.
Kara looks around. Everybody good with this?
Do we have a choice?
Probably
we could just walk out of the closet and see what happens.
Probably the most tactically sound thing.
Yeah, no, grumpy Borg are not something I want to mess with.
All right, John, you take care of it, is a phrase I can't believe I just said.
John spore jumps up to basically what looked like the captain's quarters of the Borg ship, where he sent the desk to meet its ancestors at the magical section of Stover Core labeled IKEA Core.
On the bed, the Borg just kind of groans and puts a hand to his face and then just slowly sits up.
John takes a small, what looks like a Walkman with a little speaker unit on it out of his pocket, sets it on the floor. It begins playing a little jingle, and he begins dancing while singing,
Hello, you sleepy Borg person. I am John from Starfleet ship. Would you like to be my friend? Because I would like to be friends.
A couple things happen in quick succession. First, the Borg jumps despite sitting down and looks over in kind of an alarm and notices John there, and then does a double take, and then looks confused, and eventually settles on curious. He looks over.
John points to his...
You aren't a hallucination, are you?
No, or I am also not a mad trickster god. I have been told I need to say this more.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Can I?
Chief, I have Starfleet badge.
You said your name was John.
Oh, John T. Tardigrade, Lieutenant and Chief of Security of USS Reliant.
I am primary Renta. My name is Renta, of the Borg Cooperative.
Hey! Nice to meet you, Renta. We have pulled your ship away from a big, nasty Borg sphere vessel and are currently running.
Starfleet ship. Where are we?
Let's see. We are near the Archer system.
The Archer system. That's in the
where?
Beta Quadrant.
Yep. I mean, you just like you kind of like go. You're going to New Romulus or Japori, and just keep going, and you're past Kronos, and then Archer's kind of over there.
Renta runs a hand over his, bald, pale head and just kind of slowly moves and stands up. Well, I presume you are to thank for rendering aid. Thank you, John of Starfleet.
Hey, my friends are hiding in a closet right now. Can I tell them to come up?
I would say that sounds strange, but he just nods.
John puts away his small music box and goes and does the appropriate sport jumping to bring everyone to the office.
Everyone is grabbed and spore jumped back while Kara is in the middle of saying, "We could just open the door."
Nope. John is a good boy, although a little over earnest.
Renta just blinks. This is far beyond my experiences.
As strange as it may sound, this is quite standard for Starfleet. I am Rick Tier, Chief Engineer of the USS Reliant.
Renta nods and gives kind of an unusual bow and says, "A pleasure to meet you. I am Captain Renta of the Borg Cooperative. I thank you for rendering aid to our vessel."
You weren't expecting a Borg sphere, were you?
I don't think we were expecting much of anything after the virus hit. I don't remember much. I remember I was asleep, and then I started awake, and then words can't describe what was happening from there. Whatever it was caught us completely off guard.
Well, with Purger systems, it was all being taxed by the virus was taxing your communications and computer systems. Seems it must have alerted an actual Borg sphere. We're currently in warp, being tracked by the USS Reliant.
Renta nods, closing his eyes. Yes, I see now. There's damage to the ship. Something must have fired upon us, but it must have been after the virus. I have no memory of what might have happened during that time. In all likelihood, perhaps somehow we opened a transwarp gate to a random point in space. I guess I should be thankful that it was near someone who cared and not in the deep black.
Well, you're welcome. We there is anything more that you need of the Reliant, I'm sure we could assist, help with any other further repairs.
At this point, the camera zooms out and back into the bridge of the Reliant, and then goes through the door to the ready room, where there's still a group of small aliens drinking. They look around. Hasn't the captain been gone quite a while?
Okay. The camera just pans out away from the ready room at that point.
Back to the bridge.
Back to the bridge. Graves is sort of like, he's just been standing sort of like in between the con chairs in his bridge station. And at a certain point, he just sort of like turns back to his command chair and just sort of sits down, but a little bit oddly. Just like not quite like hesitantly, just not in his usual style.
From the chair next to him, Chaplain Whately looks over and temples his fingers together and says, I believe she's experiencing a traumatic event, Captain.
Eli sits down the other side, the first officer chair, looks at Graves. I told you she wasn't ready. I told you that not only as your first officer, but your chief medical officer.
Yep, and she also did disable that Borg sphere and saved potentially a lot of lives in that. Alright.
The Rheothans, meanwhile, are gently pulling on Setsa's skirt. Setsa!
So the Rheothans at this point can actually try to help with the direct interface.
Ooh, this is true. Well, Jess isn't the sort of person to think of it. Neither really is Aro, but Neen eventually does come to the idea of looking over at the captain saying, Sir, we could enter her mind.
Graves says, without looking over, do it. Oh.
Neen closes his eyes and then goes stock still, just like Setsa.
Lost another one!
Captain, are you considering the risks when you give these orders? You didn't even think about it.
I did think about it, Nick. Oops! I did think, he says, I did think about it, Eli. Sorry.
Jess and Aro basically go over and gently grab Nin and shake him a bit, and he opens his eyes again and goes, what?
Well, Whately's going to be having a lot more patience now. Or Grimnir, depending on what they want to do.
Graves gives Whately a slight look.
Whately looks over deadpan at Eli and says, I consider it job security, sir.
Indeed you do. And Graves turns over, or looks around and says, all right, Nick.
No! You did it again.
I did it again. Sorry. He says, all right, O'Connor. All right. Right now, I want you to have the bridge. I'm going to take Setsa down in the medical with Ged. Take care of that.
Please do so, Captain.
He nods, and helps transport Seta back over to the medbay.
In a bed nearby, meanwhile, is D.B. Wells, staring up at the ceiling, contemplating the mysteries of the universe that have revealed themselves to him.
Daniel looks over as she's brought in and says, you have seen them too.
Graves just gives DB the most penetrating look he can. Just stone-faced looking at Daniel.
Actually, I want to run something here. Hey, Daniel, do you feel like being crazy?
A little bit. Always. All the time.
Go ahead and give me a control engineering roll. Let me see what that would be for you.
Yeah.
Okay, note to self, we really need to organize these character sheets.
Yeah, I mean, you could use one of the, let's see if I can do it. It just applies to everyone. It's set by last modified, so let's just go by name.
Actually, this is a really good roll for you, so this is D20 space 16, I think.
Oh, so no other modifiers, I just put the target?
Nah, I'm just going to make this real simple. We're just doing a flat roll. Partially because I really want to see this succeed.
A success and a complication.
Okay, Daniel, I'm going to let you figure this out. You go over and you wake Setsa up, but you also make a drunken idiot of yourself while you do it. So go ahead and give us a glimpse into what that's like.
Daniel gets up from the bed he's on, and tries to gracefully walk over, ends up tripping over his own foot, and just kind of like belly flops onto the bed, and just kind of like lifts himself up and pretends it never happened, and just yeah. Sorry, I don't know why. Yeah. Anyway,
Somehow this has an effect on Setsa, so we'll let Marcus tell us about that.
All right. Also, just to make sure this is audible, I'm not going to use the voice modulator for this one. But when Setsa wakes up, she is very robotic in her movements. So she just looks around quickly and just fixes her eyes on Marcus. Marcus is just, his attention is on her, although for a moment, his eyes drift over to DB Wells, and his brain just sort of like has this weird point of like just kind of seeing something in sort of like a cosmic angle, just so oddly for that. Just here's one point of the universe, here's another point. They're really close next to each other, and he just sort of has this moment. And Sets in a very small voice says, "I hear them. I hear them. I'm trying to link with them.
Do not
Please stop
give
it."
in to the call.
Graves almost punches TV Wells at that. Like he just like again just goes straight to the don't. And he just sort of says to Satsa and just says, "What do you need?" And she just sort of holds out a hand, and for as much as has been removed from her body, she still has the Borg assimilation tendrils. Graves goes over to her. She places a hand to the back of his neck and injects him.
Ged goes wide-eyed. Okay, this is not what I signed up for. He quickly starts loading up hypos with anesthetic to knock everybody out.
So Setsa and Graves link up. And at that, Setsa just sort of takes her posture changes, and she sort of like just has a much more organic breath.
Ged is literally like a step away from putting hypos to both of them when he notices this, and he stops, and he's just looking back and forth between them. Both hands have a hypo, both aimed for their necks.
And he also sees, like, on the back of Graves' neck, you gotta feel like it looks like a few, like, plates have started to sort of, like, form from the Borg metal.
Oh, that ain't good.
So, but then it's sort of like Setsa lets go, and then Graves is sort of left as he is. And then Setsa just sort of, like, lays back and just says, "Thank you."
Where the hell is Eli? I ain't paid enough for this.
Graves blinks and says, I think we're good.
All right, but that's not a new, accessory on your neck there. You do anything funny and I'm having Bryce toss you in a cell.
Graves rubs the back of his neck and is like, I'm going to have Eli look at this.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so...
All right.
He walks over to Daniel. Okay, drunken Cinderella, time to get you back to bed. You've done enough... something. I don't know if it was good or bad.
I have not even begun to help. Let me take a look at him. And Daniel tries to get over to Graves.
No.
Graves shrugs at this point and says, "Yeah, why not?" And then we can just kind of like, so we can finish things up back on the bridge. We can just have like a scene off screen of Daniel trying to use a medical tricorder. Just that's implicitly happening off screen.
Quick question. I know it's happening off screen, but would a focus in robotics or integrating technology apply?
Actually, both would if we did any roles for it, but we're not doing those.
Okay.
Like, you could actually give Eli... You could actually give Eli some feedback, but Setsa will also know entirely what was done to Graves.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
but Daniel could provide a second opinion. Yeah.
At this point, cut back to the bridge where Kara is pacing back and forth, having been brought up to speed on the situation. She looks over at Eli. He's been gone too long.
I know both of them have. I told him she wasn't ready. He did not listen to me.
Graves just sort of pipes up the comms. Hey-yo! Up there on the bridge. How's it going?
Kara visibly relaxes and just kind of sits down at our console. Good to hear your voice, sir.
You're far too
Yep.
happy for this situation.
I am, but we'll talk later. Anyway, are we still clear of the Borg?
Yes, sir. We've identified the probe. The vessel's name is the Prime Variance under Captain Renta of the Borg Cooperative.
Oh, excellent, excellent. All right, let's get them to a safe haven and basically just do our job. So we've got the Sierra and the Athens en route to assist, and so long as nothing else happens, we should be good to go. Have John on standby, though, in case we need to get creative with any more Borg that try to transwarp in.
Once we reach Magellan, I'm going to open diplomatic channels with the captain of the ship. Have a talk.
Awesome, awesome. We can invite them to dinner with the Stiat.
What's the deal with them?
Second contact species, and, essentially they've just got a little bit more range on the ship, so they're able to actually reach Magellan.
Cut back to Graves' ready room. Aliens sitting around a table. The glasses and bottles are empty. They look around. Is this a strange human custom, do you think?
The camera then pans over to the Borg cooperative ship.
Aboard the ship, the away team has already beamed off, and it's just the cooperative members going back and forth, repairing systems that have been damaged while they were, instead of unconscious, let's say, too conscious. Ultra conscious. Captain Renta, meanwhile, sits down in the command chair on what passes for a bridge there and rubs his head. The Beta Quadrant? How in the Beta Quadrant? And the camera just pans back.
So Graves arrives on the bridge wearing a scarf.
Kara dead-eyes him. Hickey, sir?
You could say that.
A hickey is easy to fix with the dermal regenerator. This is something else, isn't it?
Yep, but so far things are okay. So we'll just talk momentarily.
I don't like the sound of it.
Kara looks over.
Well,
Clearly, the captain just has a cold neck. Clearly. Everybody on the bridge looks over at Kara and then just starts nodding.
Eli doesn't nod. He just looks at the crew shifty-eyed.
All right, Eli, we'll talk in a moment, but let's first take care of business and then make sure that everything's secure. Open a channel to the cooperative vessel.
Kara moves around and just taps. Channel open, sir. Right now we've got audio only.
Very good. Cooperative vessel. This is Captain Graves of the USS Reliant, and I just wanted to check in to make sure that you have everything you need and that you're okay with our current plan.
Captain Graves, this is Captain Kenta of the Borg Cooperative Probe Prime Variance. I thank you again for your assistance, despite the usual circumstances. Repairs are proceeding. We would be able to follow you under our own power if you wish, but if you want to continue towing us, I recognize the caution.
Well, if you're proceeding under repairs, let's just make things as easy as possible for engineers. We are not straining our systems by towing your vessel. So, just give your people sort of the best chance possible to repair their propulsion systems. And, in case my officers haven't informed you, our plan is to arrive at Starbase Magellan, our outpost in the sector, with mounting defenses. So, and then we also have additional ships en route to assist. So, at that, if for whatever reason you want to visit with the Reliant, or if any crew members of yours want to visit the Reliant, or put any communications to species in the Beta Quadrant and Alpha Quadrant, just let us know.
That would be much appreciated, Captain. But if it is all right with you, I believe to expedite repairs, we shall enter a regeneration cycle. We shall be unavailable for a few hours, but that should be able to repair all damage to the ship.
All right, very good. And yeah, our crew can be on standby just in case anything happens down there, or they can return the ship per your convenience.
Thank you again, Captain. The channel closes.
Grave size. All right, the ready room is currently occupied, so Eli, we should talk in the conference room.
Lead the way, Captain.
Graves
Kara hops up as well
leads the way
without
to-
being asked.
Graves leads the way and just sort of nods at Kara, joining them as well. And he sort of just waits for the door to close in a minute, and then he takes off the scarf and kind of shows off the back of his deck and saying, "Yeah, Setson needed a little bit additional help."
Eli just stares at him blankly for a moment, blinking a few times before finally speaking up, saying, "Are you out of your mind?"
Meanwhile, Setsa
briefly.
does a similar thing, and then when she speaks, it's in an entirely different tone of voice, almost filled with awe. And she's like, "She can do that?"
Hey, what was that?
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
She just kind of looks at him in awe after the surprise wears off, and just says, "She can do that?"
Yeah, but where is she? We're in the conference room. She's in... What?
Meaning Setsa. Setsa can do that. Can assimilate people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't following.
Okay, yeah. So, Graves nods and says, "Yeah, she got a little creative. So, she didn't get in contact with the virus. She got into a cycle of trying to contact the collective."
I could have guessed that. Eli does not look very happy. He looks pissed. He looks righteously pissed.
Yeah, so she was locked in the cycle, and her first approximation was that if she had to more or less shut down. So she had some algorithms in place to basically shut herself off if she ever tried to do this. And that's
Not
why
to
she
mention
froze.
the fact that she'd already scrambled all subspace communications.
Yeah, so ultimately she was stuck in the cycle. We would have needed to remove a lot more Borg components from her, so she would have been out of the picture for months. Or she could redirect that to a different source. So that's what she put together.
So you've got
And
the
Graves
universe's
rubs the back
first
of his-
metal hickey.
I guess. I mean, more to the point, it's the Borg, but done Setsa's way. So it's kind of
Captain?
Yeah.
I have bad news, and you're not going to like this.
What is it?
Until we can do further tests, until further notice, Starfleet Order 104, Section C, you are not fit for command right now.
Kara
Yep,
draws her
I was
phaser
going to
pistol,
transfer things over to you.
but when Graves starts to talk, she puts it back.
Yeah, Graves nods and says, "Yeah, we need to figure out a little bit more about what's happened, just to make sure that what Setsa thinks she does is what she's done is what she's actually done. Basically, she's created a direct link to me. We can sort of turn it on, off, mostly off. But she's basically kind of removed her ability to focus on the Borg. Just like everything that was pointed in that direction, she just shunted over to me. And
Kara
in
basically
time,
just
we
carefully
can.
She just carefully takes Addie's position, nonchalantly moving her hand away from her weapon, and simply says, "Well, sir, I believe that we have just made contact with probably some of the best specialists you could ask for."
Yeah, that's also very fortuitous. So I'd also very much like to get their second opinion on this. Setsa should also be refrained from, basically or barred from accessing critical systems in the meantime, just to make sure that, again, what we think has happened. But yeah, for right now, I mean, there shouldn't be any danger of me contacting the collective. She hasn't built it that way. There isn't any danger that I think she can contact the collective. But let's double check this.
We could also
Hi,
get
sir.
Dr. 3 on the line. It's not like, we'd spent a whole couple months doing stuff with the Borg, and I have experience as well.
I officially
and
protest.
your opinion, I want.
Dr. 3 does not
Yeah,
need to be
threes. We've
Fair.
got the cooperative, and we got you, Eli. So those are the people that I would trust in this matter most. 3 would be a second opinion if we need it.
Third opinion, yeah. Until further notice, you are confined to quarters. I want to be sure.
I know. Sounds good. And just make sure that Bryce is locked off my data terminals in my quarters as well.
That'll
Kara
be
nods
taken care of.
to Eli. I'll relay the same orders for Setsa once she's out of the sick bay.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
All right. Well, sorry to lump this on you, but yeah, this needed to happen.
Kara just kind of quirks a smile and looks back at Graves. You might have an interesting evening, sir. I'd go lie down if I were you.
Yep, that's the plan. And he says, oh yes, the Stiat also need tending to at this point. John might be a fitting candidate for being their tour guide from this point on.
Kara
I
just
think
kinda-
that
just kinda
might work.
looks back and forth between Eli. The who?
The people he has holed up in his ready room right now.
There are people in the ready room?
Yes, diplomats. I don't know. They seem to have strange markings. Do they have a caste system? I feel like something like that was mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Quick-
Graves nods and says, yeah.
Then I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole. John could have that. I despise it, and Starfleet, yeah, they're not going to be allowed in the Federation until they get rid of that.
Quick smash cut now to
yeah.
the ready room, where Party Tardigrade has set up a cake and streamers and balloons, and all the aliens have little party hats on now as the Tardigrades start singing.
Happy birthday. Wait, no. It's a good day to be friends with you.
We cut back to the meeting room. Well, I believe that wraps it up for now, sir. ETA to Magellan is about 1 hour, 20 minutes.
I'll be in your quarters in an hour, so I can check up on you.
All right, sounds good. I'll just be there reading.
Kara nods. I will return to my station, sir, she says, looking at Eli.
Just a moment. Escort him to his quarters. I need to have a talk with Bryce.
Acknowledged, sir. She moves out and goes with Graves.
Graves just says nonchalantly, I got some interesting mental images from Setsa.
I'm sure you did.
Sir, my loyalty to you extends far, but I suggest you reconsider this topic of conversation.
Graves nods, just obviously trying to mute a little bit, and says, "Yeah, duly noted." And he just sort of continues on.
Bryce, meanwhile, is summoned to Eli.
Bryce, I need you to lock out all of Graves' command codes. He's currently possibly compromised. Make sure he doesn't have any backup that we don't know about, any secret ones.
I'll do my best, sir, but if anyone on the ship is good at hiding things, it would probably be the captain.
I know, so we gotta do the best we can.
Acknowledged,
At
sir.
the very
I'll
least,
have-
lock out his voice pattern from command systems.
The computers will be locked, sir. I'll also post guards outside the door.
Very good.
Bryce salutes and turns and moves off.
Eli heads out to the bridge.
Three of the Thans have resumed being at the science station. Kara has resumed being at the con station. Larissa is looking upset she didn't get to shoot more things.
Alright, everyone. We did a good job today. We helped people that needed to be helped. Took some risks. I'm proud of you all.
Kara nods. ETA is 1 hour, 15 minutes, sir. Let me know if you need anything.
I need a lot of coffee, but I can get that on my own. I'll go check up on Graves and I'll get my tools.
And unless anyone has any scenes, I'm out, so that would probably be credits.
Do.
So are we learning what this is today, or is this going to be like a next episode thing? Is this an arc?
Oh, that's actually something I was thinking about happening, when we, for later on, and I'm like, hey, I can do this now. So I did. So, for all that's happened, it'll get more details next episode, for, a full medical thing. But, the augmentations that Setsa's given Graves is the Protect Graves augmentation set. So, he'll have, a little bit of, increased fortitude and increased, basically health effects. And is going to be very resistant to assimilation. I don't want to say impossible, But that's something that sets is sort of built into this. Just the keep graves safe routines or augmentation stuff. So
I've
again,
gone from- Sorry.
so for basically where this sort of lines up is that he's got cybernetic augmentations now that are starting to look a little conclave from my Starfleet security series.
Dun dun dun.
I've gone from acting first officer to acting captain.
Rising up the ranks, but I started to make that a big thing, but it's something I was looking at doing for a while, and it just again came up that Setsu would try to regain the connection with the Borg after Whately gave her a little bit of a push. And
Oh no, that was Whately? Nobody totally saw that coming. Nobody could tell.
Ooh,
no one could
dummy.
tell. No.
My
And then, yeah.
shock it is.
I thought it was Bill
Yeah.
from engineering. He's always shifting.
Whately is completely trustworthy. We know this.
The Bill from engineering is a host to another chaos demon.